So once you've actually made your repository, the next thing I'm asking you to do is actually make a copy of the repository that I've already created and get some experience pulling it into your own GitHub account and making some changes to it. So I am logged in with my other GitHub ID, and I am on my SSIS RVR dance party repository, so you can kind of see that I have uploaded some code that will run on the RVR, and I've done that with my normal GitHub account. Because I'm signed in with my other account, I am viewing this like you will view it. I'm another GitHub user, and I now am looking at this code, which I want to now try to use myself. So what I'm going to do is I am going to fork this code, which means it's going to make a local copy of the current state of the code in the original repository, and it's going to copy it to this new repository. All right, so now I have my own copy of the repository, and the code I can play around with and change however I want. So I have a couple of ways of getting this onto my computer. I could just go over here and download a zip file. And so that's going to give me a zip file that has everything inside of this repository so that the code is now on my computer. The way I'm going to do this, though, is I'm actually going to go into the main.txt file. And so I can take a look at this code, and I can go to the raw version of it. And so this just makes it pure text, and I can take all of this, I can copy it, and I can put it right into my Sphero program, and I can run it. And so this means that I have now downloaded the code from the repository, I've made a copy of it, and now I can put that code onto my robot. Let's say now that I figure out as I'm working with this that I actually want to change this a little bit. Instead of driving at a speed of 50, I want to change this to a speed of 75. So I'm going to go to each of these commands and change the speed to 75. We'll talk in class a little more about these commands. It's pretty straightforward. This is the heading that the RVR will drive at. This is the speed, has a number from 0 to 255, and this is the amount of time that it's going to drive. And I have it stopping the robot at the end of each of these 4 moves for a reason that I'll explain later. And so if I hit start and I have the robot connected, it's going to download the code into the RVR, and it will actually run. So let's now say that I am happy with this adjustment to the code. I can take this, copy it, go back to my repository right here, and I can go in and edit the code. So I'll go and edit. I will take this and I will paste my code changes into this file. I can go down here and I can just say change drive speed. I can commit changes. And you can see that on my copy of the code, I now have this updated speed of 75. And I can go back to the main repository for the code, and I can see that there are 3 commits to this repository. 2 of those were the initial code that was made in the original repository, and this was a change that I made on my local repository. But I want to show you something. If I go back to the original repository, and I go to the main.txt file, on this copy of the code, that speed is still set at 50. So I have made those changes in my own fork on this repository. So even though I have made changes, we still have the original copy ready to go in case I make a mistake, in case I want to see what the base code that I have written in my other account actually says. So this is how you can make a fork of existing code and pull it into your own repository and also make an edit to it. We're going to keep going with this. My hope is that you will do this with the code, and you will update it to work according to the task that I've given you in class. Have fun.